I'm Tia Porter, and this is Our Erie. On today's episode, we're digging up some great books, flipping through a local magazine, and learning more about our local farmers. So stick around, because all that and more is happening right now on Our Erie.
It's easy to click Add to Cart and have a book at your door in a day or two. But here in Erie, Kyle and Lauren are working on something different, something you can't ship in a box. They took over Werner Books and Coffee in 2022, not because it was easy, but because they believed in what a place like this meant to the community.
The Erie community is so great. When we bought the bookstore, it was 2022, and a lot of people were thinking, oh, buying a bookstore in 2022 is a crazy proposition, right? I mean, this idea of books are not gonna last, and ebooks and big box stores and all these things are gonna take the mom and pop bookstores away. And that's not what we found. What we really love about the Erie community is Erie people love their local businesses.
And that support gave them the confidence to not just keep the bookstore going, but to reimagine what it could be.
Some stories don't start with a line. They start with a feeling, and you'll find that here between the books and the coffee.
What more can you really add to a bookstore but a coffee shop? So we added a coffee shop.
It may seem like a simple addition, but it changed everything.
We really wanted people to feel like they would be comfortable here and they would be able to come and meet people and have coffee and hang out and relax and do things. And that was so important to us as we kind of grew into this space.
And it doesn't take long before people start making the space their own.
We also really encourage people to get together and do things, play games, have book clubs, just sit and chat and have coffee. And, if you have kids, come and, let your kids be kids.
And part of that comfort isn't something you're told. It's something you immediately experience.
I think that when people enter the store, if some of the first things that they smell are homey smells, are things that bring comfort, remind them of good memories, and of course we want this to be a place where they make new good memories. I think smell is such an important part of that. And also the smell of the bookstore is related. There's kind of a well-known smell that comes from old books that really attracts people.
But what really defines this place isn't just how it feels when you walk in, it's who's here.
We're your neighbors and we're your friends down the street. We're people who you're going to run into at the grocery store, and we care about you and we want to make your life better.
And over time, what they built started to get recognized beyond the walls of the store.
We got some really cool accolades. We were able to, with the Erie Reader a couple years ago, we won Best Local Bookstore, and we were on the cover that year.
And sometimes the moments that mattered most weren't the ones on a cover. They were the ones happening inside.
I'm going to say it was our first Galentine's here when I looked out from the cafe and I was just washing dishes, but looking up and I just saw so many people waving to their friends coming in, people gathering and doing crafts or talking about what they were where they were headed next, maybe to the thrift store, etc. Just recognizing how we had brought people together in a really special way.
And it's those kind of moments that Independent Bookstore Day celebrates each year. And this year, it's happening in-store on Saturday, April 25th.
Independent Bookstore Day is a national holiday. It was started, a handful of years ago as a way to celebrate, what independent bookstore days are to their individual communities. We have so much fun on this day. It's our busiest day of the year. And it really shows what our community means to us and what we mean to the community.
And on that day, it's not just about books and coffee. It's a full celebration happening inside the store.
What we really try to do is celebrate our customers that day. So we have a lot of opportunities, a lot of things that they giveaways, and we have our friend Anthony will be here doing doodles. Brenna Thumler, who's amazing local graphic novelist, she'll be doing doodles for folks. We have music, things like that really, I think, say to our customers, hey, we value you and we want you to know that you are a part of our community, and they do know that.
And tucked into all of that celebration, there's one hidden surprise waiting inside the store.
We have a golden ticket from Libro FM, which is a audiobook platform, and they give away a 1-year supply of audiobooks. We have one of those certificates that's getting hidden in our store for that day.
And beyond the surprises and the celebration, it all points back to something bigger, supporting the places that make community feel like home.
I think what I really want to encourage people to do is just celebrate, not just the bookstore, right? This idea of like what an independent bookstore is, and us, and the other ones here in town, but also what it means for the bigger Erie community, right? To have days where you support your local businesses, which you should be doing all the time anyway, and people do. They're amazing at it. But this is just one of many days where there's cool things. So go and discover.
To steal a phrase from one of our friends who owns a local brewery, it's buy local or buy local. So you lose what you don't support.
Because supporting places like this is really about the feeling you get when you're here and what you take with you when you leave.
I hope they walk out the door feeling a little bit better than they did when they walked in.
I really love our customers. I really love our staff. I'm obviously a person who loves literacy and books themselves, coffee, yes, all of that. But really, it's about the people.
And maybe that's the best part of any good story. It's not just what you find inside the pages. It's how you feel when you leave them behind.
After some great books and great coffee, I'm feeling refreshed. So if you'd like to feel refreshed too, stop on by any day or April 25th for Independent Bookstore Day.
Stop by 3608 Liberty Street today. Just outside of Erie, nestled in the small town of Cambridge Springs, you'll find a place that's doing more than supplying farms. It's helping sustain a way of life.
In a community like Cambridge Springs, it's not just about the service. It's about neighbors helping neighbors. And that's exactly what Centerra Co-Op brings to the table.
That neighborly mindset is something branch manager Kyle has worked hard to grow right alongside the business.
Started off as just a feed mill, and from there we've grown, quite a bit.
But growth here hasn't meant losing that small town connection. It's meant strengthening it.
Me personally, being the branch manager, I've tried to incorporate more with the community actually than in the past. So we've been doing a lot of donations to the community and we've also helped with the high school, bringing in co-op students just to help extend a hand and get kids to get onto the 4-H stuff early on in farming to kind of keep it growing. Farming obviously is a dying industry. Unfortunately, more and more bigger corporations are getting involved in listening to the family farms. So by getting kids in, getting to know the family farmers, we can kind of support them.
That investment into the next generation is just one way they give back.
It pays back in the community. All the money that we make here, like I said, we donate as much as we can back into the community. We support the community. So by coming here and supporting us, we can use the funds to help to keep moving it forward.
And behind that mission is a team made up of local experts.
Everybody here is obviously from the local area of Cambridge Springs. So we've all got the different expertise in terms of we've got Madeline, who's very good with feed acknowledgement. We've got Chris, who can do, and the chemicals that he knows is insane. Anything that you need done or need sprayed, he has an answer for. So everybody kind of works together, and everybody, we got guys that are great truck drivers. They can get into tight spots. We have guys that do the custom equipment, the big John Deere sprayer that you guys see go up and down the roads. I mean, everybody works together. They all have their own type of specialty, but we can help you no matter what you need.
From farms to backyards, their services reach far beyond just one type of customer.
Fertilizer is the biggest one, I would say, especially the farmers, and not just farmers, people with their yards. They want to get rid of moss, and we can lean them towards lime. That's a good way to get rid of that.
And when it comes to feed, options and value matter.
Our feed is really starting to take off. I think people are realizing that we are very price competitive there. We do carry a big, broad, brands of feed. So I think that helps out a lot. And a lot of the grains are local, so that does help also. We carry Buckeye, we carry Purina, a lot of different brands when it comes to feed.
While tradition is key, staying current with technology is just as important.
So farming's changing. I mean, obviously with technology, things are becoming more advanced. We try to keep up with that technology. We keep going through classes and learning how different technology does help the farmers, whether it's GPS systems in the tractors or the new technology that some of the John Deere sprayers have where they see the weeds and that's where they focus on. So we take classes, we do what we can to kind of keep up on that.
It's that forward-thinking approach that led to adding new in-demand services.
So hydraulic hoses was something that we kind of debated on for a little bit, and we saw that there was a big need. There's not very many people around that do it. So what we did was we decided, hey, we have enough farmers that stop in here, they're trying to pick up their seed, they're trying to pick up their fertilizer, we can be price competitive with them. So why not limit what their stops they have to make? They can stop here, get their hoses made while they're here to pick up something else, so they don't have to make another extra stop, which saves them time and money.
And whether you're managing acres of land or just your own backyard, they've got you covered.
So when it comes to yard seed and fertilizer, it was something that we saw in the community, especially you can get some smaller bags, but there's a lot of people that need some bigger bags of, not more than a pound. So we carry anything up to 50-pound bags. So we can do smaller amounts. People that really care about the yards and they really want to get them to look nice, we can help with all that. We can do soil sampling to see what the actual yard needs.
Convenience is another key part of what keeps customers coming back.
We deliver feed, we deliver fertilizer, we deliver wood pellets that we actually carry here as well. Every day, we have somebody that calls and asks for something. And we want to try to support them as much as we can. And if it's something that we don't actually have here, lots of times because of our other locations, we might have it somewhere at Centerra, and we can usually get it here within a day or two.
And that dedication shows through in every single service that they offer, including their custom spraying options.
We actually have 2 custom sprayers. One of them is our big John Deere sprayer. We can spray, it's basically got 120-foot booms on it. And we can do any type of chemicals. We do hay fields, we do cornfields, and soybeans, whatever. We also have a pickup sprayer that we have, and that one we use more for pastures. We actually have quite a bit of horse farmers that do want their pasture sprayed because they want the better quality, that we can custom apply that too. Rates vary, ranges vary, but usually whatever you need, we can kind of help supply that.
In a town where community still comes first, Centerra Co-op is proving that supporting local isn't just a slogan, it's a way of life.
When you come in here, you know that you're going to be treated with good service.
Centerra Co-op fuels farms and homes, one seed at a time.
To learn more, visit 225 Railroad Street in Cambridge Springs today.
There's something new and exciting on the horizon for Erie, and it's all about celebrating the people who help shape the community. Erie Seniors Magazine is launching its very first issue, and here to give us a closer look is Jasmine. Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I am doing good. Talk to us a little bit more about why you are launching Erie Seniors Magazine.
Well, I knew I wanted to start a city magazine. I think Erie was ready for something new and fresh, and I also wanted to make sure that it hit like a specific target market, like a niche, and so I decided to go with seniors. I think there was really just a gap in the market for it.
Why do you think there was such a gap for seniors?
Sometimes as we get older, people are not targeted as much for certain community things and just getting out there and living an active lifestyle, and we all know that that's really important, so we want to keep that coming.
How would you describe the overall look and feel of the magazine?
So it's a high-end luxury magazine. I'll pass you a copy here if you want to take a look. But it is nice glossy pages, a nice thick cover. We made sure that the fonts were nice and big. We do know that we have an older audience, and so we were really aware of that. There's lots of nice open space, and it's all local content, which was really important to me.
So with this magazine that we have here, tell me a little bit more about what people are going to find inside.
Yeah, there's all sorts of different lifestyle articles. There's articles about retirement, about finding your fire after retirement. There's fashion. Our local fashionista, Frugal Fashionista, has an article in there about thrifting. There's spring salads and just all sorts of different lifestyle articles. Really high quality content from local collaborators and contributors.
Tell me a little bit more about the style of the magazine. We would call it kind of a coffee table style. Elaborate on that for me.
Yeah, I wanted to really have evergreen content. So like if you're looking for what's happening in Erie this week, like we're not it. Like that's already there in the newspaper or online. This is really evergreen content, something that will be just as interesting if you pick it up 3 months from now as it is today. Something that you might pass on to a friend. You know, you read an interesting article and save it to give to your grandmother or your sister. So really just trying to focus on real high quality content, and it's a little bit more sophisticated.
Tell me a bit more about why it was so important for this to be created, produced, printed all here in Erie.
You know, I think it's important to support local. I've always done that in every role I've had here in town. From being president of Erie Day School Parent Group for a number of years, I always tried to keep it local, support local entrepreneurs, and it was the same thing with producing the magazine. You know, with print, you can always go international and try to find the lowest price. I didn't shop around. They took good care of me here at McCarty Printing, and I was happy to kind of support our local economy.
Tell me a little bit more about your ideal reader for this magazine.
You know, it's somebody who's active, somebody who's aging, but aging well, somebody who's still looking for great recipes and maybe different resources and businesses that can serve them here in Erie.
What would you say makes this content different from what someone might find in another magazine?
I would say it's really focused on local living. Every article, I even tell our contributors, like, don't say you're going for a walk on the beach, say you're going for a walk on the peninsula. Like, we really try to keep everything coming back to a down-home readership, and I think it's served us well.
Tell me a little bit more about your distribution. Where can people find these magazines?
So if you want to go pick up a copy, it is available at Pressed for $9.99. We have subscriptions available on the website, so we can deliver it right to your door as well. And then as we launch our premiere issue, I'm hoping that you will find it all over town. A lot of our partners and collaborators will have stacks of it in their waiting rooms, or different organizations are helping with our distribution. So we did print 5,000 copies, and we'll be doing that again quarterly.
Why do you think this has such a long shelf life?
I would just say it's really high quality content, and we're always looking for contributors. So if anybody listening has an article or a story idea, I would love to hear from them.
Looking ahead, what is your vision for the future of this magazine?
So we do have a sister publication in works. It's called Erie Families, and kind of with that same idea in mind, that Erie was ready for a sophisticated high-end magazine, but one that will cater more towards younger families. So we'll have 2 sister products, both printed quarterly. And then as far as Erie Seniors goes, we just hope to keep growing it and developing more partnerships within the community.
Tell me about maybe next quarter. So you said you're going to do this quarterly. So tell me about, you know, what might be in the next issue.
Well, we do have an amazing cover girl, but I can't share who it is just yet, but we're very excited to be partnering with her. Every issue will feature 6 over 60, so that's where we highlight 6 members of the community who are doing amazing things after the age of 60, and that's rolling nominations, so we'll be able to feature that again in our next issue. So if anyone's listening knows somebody doing amazing things, we would love to hear from them on our website.
And what is that website?
That's www.erieseniors.com. And we also have on our website a directory where local businesses can list their business. There's no charge to put your business in there, and we're hoping to develop it into a tool that our readers can use, you know, if they're looking for somebody to paint their house or clean their house or maybe pet sit their dog, they can go on our website to find some good resources.
What would you say is your favorite part of this magazine?
For this magazine, I would have to turn to the back page. I love this Breathing Space Erie. It's just kind of a page that you can turn to when you're reading the magazine and take a deep breath and just kind of relax.
Tell me a little bit more about, there's something on the back of that magazine.
Yeah, someone looks familiar.
Just a little bit. Tell me a bit more about why you're partnering with Our Erie here.
I mean, I think we have a lot of the same shared goals, and we reach a similar demographic, and we're both really interested in just making Erie grow into like the best city it can be.
What do you love the most about this local Erie community?
You know, I moved here in 2019, and I've developed such wonderful friendships. There's so many nice people out in the community. I'm actually proud to be an Erie ambassador now, so I will officially be an Erieite once I've done that process. And I'm really happy for the support of the Chamber of Commerce. It's just a great city, and everybody's so welcoming, and it's kind of easy to make new connections and develop friendships along the way while you're doing business.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time here today.
Thank you.
Erie Seniors Magazine is proof that great stories and great people aren't just in the headlines. They're right here in our community.
From searching for our next good read to browsing through a local magazine, these are the people and the places helping make our community shine. Thanks for spending time with us. I'm Tia Porter, and we'll see you next time on Our Erie.
Thank you.